Hi, and welcome to another installment of Math Basics with Mr. Besh. Today's topic is combining integers. I will walk you through some of these problems step by step. First, I'd like to explain what integers are. Integers are numbers. They can be positive, they can be negative, or they can be zero. Before we begin combining those through addition and subtraction, you need to know the differences between a positive and a negative number. A positive number has a plus sign or no sign at all in front of it, and these are my examples. Plus 35 or just plain old 35. Whereas a negative number has a negative sign or minus sign in front of it, both of which are exactly the same. They both mean take away. Knowing that, then we have to apply three basic rules when we combine integers. Rule number one, if both numbers are positive, you add them together and your answer stays positive. For instance, 12 has no sign in front of it, it's positive. 6 has a plus sign in front of it, it's positive. So together they add together to make 18. Another example of this, 13 and 5. 13 has no sign in front of it, it's positive. 5 has a plus sign in front of it, it's positive. If they have exactly the same sign, you add them together and use that sign. So 13 plus 5 makes 18. The second rule is exactly the same, but it deals with the negatives. If both numbers are negative, you add them together and your answer stays negative. My example, you have a negative 12 and a minus 6. Both have a minus sign in front of them, so they're both negative. So then your answer is you take them, you add them together. 12 and 6 make 18, and because they both have a minus sign, you keep it. Another example like this is a negative 11 minus 9. They both have minus signs in front of them. So now as a result, you take them, you add them up, 11 and 9 make 20, and you use the sign they both share, minus. Last but not least, our third rule. If one number is negative and one number is positive, you subtract the two numbers and use the sign of the larger absolute value. You just check out the numbers. 12 here is negative, 6 is positive because of the signs in front of them. If they have opposite signs like they do, you take the bigger number, which is 12, minus the smaller number, which is 6. 12 minus 6 makes 6. And the answer is negative 6 because the bigger of the two values is negative 12. Remember, you're using that sign of the larger absolute value. Remember, when we say absolute value, we mean how far away from 0 are you on the number line. An example of this, and there's two of them, negative 19 and positive 4. So now, as a result, because they have different signs, you take the big minus the small. 19 minus 4 makes 15, and because the bigger value is negative, my answer became negative. Taking these rules and flip-flopping them around in our second example here, the first number, because there's no sign in front of the 4, is positive, and the 7 is negative. So then we take the big minus the small again. 7 minus 4 makes 3, and again, because of the larger value was negative, my answer was negative, so minus 3. Oh, by the way, one other thing we have to do before you combine integers. You may have to simplify the problem. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. If you see a minus and a plus sign in a row with no numbers in between them, make it negative. These are my examples. A plus and a minus sign, make a minus sign, or a minus and a plus, also make a minus. Let me show you this through an example. With this problem, you get 5 plus, and then there's a set of parentheses, and inside that parentheses, you see a minus sign. This is what ends up happening. The plus and the minus make a minus, and then as a result, it is 5 minus 3, which is positive 5 and negative 3, and together they combine together to make positive 2. If you see two minus signs in a row, make that a positive. And this rule works the same way as the last rule. My example, I have 5 minus, and then in parentheses, a negative 3. So the two minus signs in a row become a plus sign. And then as a result, I rewrite the problem as 5 plus 3. And we all know what 5 plus 3 is. Both of them are positive. That's rule number 1. We add them together, we make 8. Notice the parentheses didn't affect the problem one little bit. This will conclude our lesson on combining integers through adding and subtracting. I hope this lesson was both informative and helpful.